right, welcome everybody. We'll go ahead and get started with the presentation. If you have questions at any time, please feel free to raise a hand or put it in the chat. Mario will be monitoring that. All right, so we're going to be talking about New Mexico's HSD RFA, request for applications for GME planning and development. NMPCTC is working with HSD. We provide technical support for filling out the application. And then if you want support for actually planning and developing your residency as well. And this is our stack here. So NMPCTC's view, we are a 501c3 not-for-profit organization. We are based in Silver City, but we have people all around the state. It's our mission. Why we do this is to help support existing and developing new training opportunities to increase the primary care workforce in New Mexico. These are our members. We have members from just about every primary care residency in the state, either working with us or on our board. So you can see those. So a little bit of background on the HSD GME expansion grant. House Bill 480 directed the New Mexico HSD to award funding to increase the number of first-year residency slots, particularly in primary care around the state. They developed a 5-year strategic plan, which was devoted to guide the priorities of primary care GME development. And this 5-year strategic plan is also a great guide to use if you're filling out an application for this grant. And I'll send these slides over to everybody when we're done, so you can click on these links if you want to see them more. Also, a little bit more about the GME expansion. A state plan amendment, or SPA, was submitted and accepted by CMS, which incentivizes primary care GME in New Mexico. So before this SPA, every residency program received $50,000 per resident per year, and this increased it to $100,000 per resident per year for primary care residents. All right, so a little overview. The RFA was released October 15th. Letter of intent is due on November 15th, and we can go over that. If you have questions and would like to meet privately, we can. And if for some reason you can't get it in by November 15th, just reaching out to me and letting me know that, hey, we are going to apply, but we just can't get this in yet. Application deadline. So there are 2 deadlines. For current grantees, the application is a little different, and they have a deadline date of January 31st. New applicants have a deadline date of February 28th of next year. After applications are submitted, there will be a committee to look them over, to approve them or not. And then if you are approved, contracts will be signed and funding start date would be July 1st of 2023. There are currently $1 million available for this grant. And then your point of contact with the HSD is Alex Castillo-Smith and me as well, Nicole Mandall, and our information is there. So in this RFA, GME programs that are prioritized are family medicine, general psychiatry, general internal medicine, and general pediatrics. And for the purposes of this grant, we classify these as primary care residencies. Eligible entities to apply: a licensed New Mexico hospital, an academic medical education institution, a new or proposed freestanding graduate medical education program, an established or new graduate medical education training consortium, or a federally qualified health center or rural health clinic. Any questions about any of that so far? Great. Okay, we'll keep going. All right, so some priorities in this grant is to develop new or expanding programs, to increase programs serving rural, medically underserved, and health professional shortage areas. And then there are preferences for FQHC's rural or frontier-based programs, underserved areas and populations, demonstrating ability to recruit New Mexico residents, integrated service models, and just demonstrated commitment to retention. It's not to say that if you do not have these in your application, you will not get funded, but these are just some priorities. All right. So going into kind of the body of the application, for current grantees, there are 5 requirements. That's a typo right there with number 6. So an abstract, which will serve as the summary of key information, an abridged narrative. So here for current grantees, for the narrative, we really want to hear about what you've done so far, how you've used your current funds, any challenges or things you've learned along the way. I know Esther, she is a current grantee up in El Centro, so it's a bit shorter. And then your future directions, what would the new funds would be used for, where you're going with your program. A work plan, and I'm just going to switch over really quick and pull up the work plan so you guys can see it. So here's the work plan. You put your project title here, your goals, whatever those may be, you put them here. And then for each action item under the goal, you put in the box who should complete it, and then highlighting what percentage or what time period that will be done in this Gantt chart. So you'll see it rolls from January, where you received the funds, until the end of June, which is the project end date for this grant. Any questions about the work plan?
Nicole, I think you meant to say when the grant starts in July, not January. Is that right?
Yes. Did I say January?
Yeah.
No, you are correct. The grant starts in July 1st, and then runs to June 30th, the next year. All right. Any other questions there? So this is just a template. We have all of these as appendices that you can download and use. The work plan, we would really want you to use that template. For the budget, you can add items, you can take them away. If you'd like to use a different format, that's okay as well. So it's basic. You have your personnel, program directors, coordinators, salary, benefits, any in and out of state travel you'll need, any subcontracts for financial consultants, legal consultants, anything like that, technical expertise. And then any other expenses, materials, memberships, fees, license, application fees, meetings and direct expenses, that kind of thing. Any questions on that?
Hey, Nicole, can you go back to the work plan for just a minute?
Sure, Esther, give me a second.
I started to play with that the other day, and it feels really unwieldy. And I get why it's done that way. I actually like this format, but when you go to start filling it in, you either have to reduce your screen size, or it can get really tiny, or if you keep it at a page size, it comes out to about 6 pages printed out. What was the rationale for changing this format, just so you guys have more detail? Or
more detail, and Alex Castillo-Smith really wanted the Gantt chart format for this upcoming cycle. So we changed over to this format just so you could see and kind of a timeline. So say here you're working on establishing a DNEC to form an SI. And you could see who was doing it, X, Y, and Z. And then you could see that we'll be doing it for these weeks right here. And for her, that was just a little clearer. So she knew what was going on.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. And obviously the color coding would be helpful too. Is there a certain color you wanted us to use?
Nope.
Like to fill in the weeks or anything?
You
Okay.
can use anything you would like there.
Okay. Thanks for answering that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries.
And I'm assuming you'll send out this template as well as the budget template along with the slides.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. The next part of the application is the letter of commitment. So I'm going to bring that up really quick. So here it's a basic, rundown of this is what GME is. This is why we're, going to increase primary care residencies. And then understanding kind of why HSD is doing its thing. Therefore, the program leadership is understanding that they are, in support of the program leaders. They're in support of supporting you. They understand that time is required away from clinical duties to run and administer the program, that kind of thing. And so this needs to be signed by your organizational leadership, CEOs, that kind of thing, executive directors, and then turned in with the application. Any questions on that? So that's the five requirements. More thorough explanation of what's required on the narrative is in page 9 of the RFA. And so it's a little different between current and new applicants. So for the new applicants, you can see here, they have all of the same requirements due, but the narrative is different. So for new applicants, the narrative's a bit more robust. So we want to know about your community, your organizational capacity, your developmental goals, and health disparities, that kind of thing. And it's all outlined right there in the RFA bullet points of what to be in the narrative. And if you have any questions or want any help with that, I'm more than happy to help you fill it out or to game plan about how you want to fill that out. Any questions about that? Okay, we'll go ahead. So when filling out the application, we consider there to be 3 stages of program development for this application. So stage 1 is planning for a residency program. Stage 2 is the ACGME application development. And then stage 3 is pre-operational expenses. So in the letter of intent that you're going to fill out, you're going to kind of specify which stage you're thinking of, which stage you'll be doing. And these can range. You can only be in stage 1, or for this next year of funding, you could be going from stage 1 to stage 3, or you could just be at stage 2. So it's really up to you. And there's a more kind of laid out explanation of the stages on page 11 of the RFA. Right. So getting into some of the allowable costs. So one of the allowable costs is to plan for and develop new or expanding existing ACGME accredited programs within the specified primary care specialties. To cover staff, technical assistance, and other related costs associated with ACGME application development for new programs. Fund startup operating costs prior to launch of a new program, and to support resident salaries that are not included in the Medicaid direct and indirect GMA payment calculations. Any questions about any of that? Great. All right, we'll go on. So some unallowable costs, mostly this is about salaries. So any salaries or stipends, excuse me, this, and benefit payments for residents subsidized by military, public health service, or other federal agencies. You cannot budget for those in this grant. Salaries, stipends, and benefits that are calculated at a higher rate than which an individual or similar position normally receives at the sponsoring institution or participating site, basically your organization. And then professional liability insurance for professional activities outside of the participating residency program. Is that all clear?
Nicole?
Uh-huh.
Just one clarification on the previous slide. Maybe I missed it.
Okay.
On number 4, for those of you that may not know, New Mexico doesn't have a cap on the number of residents it will fund in positions. So there's no reason that for these positions that you'd be requesting, that it couldn't be paid for by GME payments directly, indirect and direct graduate medical education payments. So there's really no reason to fund salaries through a grant process, since every expansion is eligible for growth. Just wanted to.
Awesome. Thank you for adding that, Charlie. Yes, that is correct. We do not have a cap, so that's nice. All right. And that is really all we have right now. Is there any questions about the whole process? Anything that you would like to add, comments? I'll take the screen share off so I can see you guys. No questions?
Nice job.
Thanks, Charlie. All right. If you would like to start an application for HSD and would like to set up a meeting to kind of walk through that or to have us help you, we're more than happy to do that. Feel free to reach out. You'll have my information. Yeah. If that's all, then I'll let you guys go.